Intro done. On Dep and on Discord done. Transition done. And here we are, back again with another episode of the Neon Podcast. Episode 120. We finally made it to the 120s. The roaring 20s. How much are we going to roar? I have no clue. But that's not important. What is important is we have another podcast after taking a break from last week, aka I didn't have anyone for last week, but I have someone this week. Someone awesome by the name.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. How about you tell him? You tell him who I have.
Oh, what's up, guys? It's Dendy.
Oh, dude, it's Dandy, bro. Dandy, it's
Psych.
oh.
Nah, it's me, Spalding.
Oh shit, it's Spalding! Holy shit. The Spalding, the basketball? Oh my god, it's an honor to meet the man.
Basketball.
Honored to meet you, man. I'd love to shake your hand if you were if you had hands, but you're not, you're just a basketball.
It's a basketball.
Yes, sir. All right. So, anyways, yeah, how are you doing today, Spalding? Welcome back on another episode.
Pretty good. Ready to do this. I got some tea, so I'm ready to vibe.
Ooh,
How
this
about
man,
you?
this man is actually like full on ready to podcast. He's got the tea. You know what? Maybe we should just speak like closer to our mics and whisper talk like it's NPR. And
I don't know if I can do that because I have to hit a certain threshold or Discord won't pick it up. But
oh, I see. Yeah, I already have you boosted on my Discord volume wise, so no problem. But still, I'm just NPR is a wild thing. Have you seen that video of the Family Guy skit where it's like they talk about NPR? There's like
I
a
don't
little
think so,
a
no.
little cutaway. Okay, I'll bring that up at the post podcast. So Family Guy NPR cutaway. Cool. Anyways, I'm glad you are doing well. How's anything about your day or week so far that's been pretty awesome or not awesome?
It's just been pretty regular. Yeah.
What's
Um,
what's a regular week in the life of Freddie, aka Spalding? I don't know your last name.
1250.
Oh yeah, 1250. Mr. 1250, please. Mr. Falcon, please. What is a regular week for you in your life?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. It's pretty random sometimes. Sometimes there's not really like some sort of routine.
Mm-hmm.
I guess literally the only thing I do every day is make coffee. That's literally the only thing that stays the same, I guess.
Oh.
Um, but yeah, everything else, I wake up, check for jobs, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then whatever errands I have to run.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much it.
Nice, dude. So uh, I'm gonna pick out the one thing that's in your regular schedule, right? You make coffee. When did you
Yep.
start drinking coffee, Spalding? Because
Ooh,
I don't like coffee. I don't drink coffee. Like the closest I'll get to like things that are me liking coffee are like dessert stuff, like mocha or like tiramisu, stuff
Okay.
like that, but never actual coffee stuff. Like I don't even like coffee ice cream. So I know some people
fair.
drink it for the caffeine. People need it as their daily routine. Be like, yeah, I can't start my day without coffee. Or, some people like my dad. It's not even to stay awake. It's just because he likes the taste and his body doesn't need the
Yeah.
caffeine. So, I mean, when did you start drinking coffee, Spalding?
Probably when I was a freshman in college. That's when I feel like it was more of a necessity for staying awake.
Mm.
Um, and I didn't like the taste. Like it wasn't good. But I mean, I tried other things. I tried what are those
Like
those
energy
like
drinks,
caffeine? Yeah, those like the tiny one, the 5 hour
the
one.
5 hour energies.
Those were gross. those were fucking gross. But I needed to like stay awake because I wasn't getting sleep really. Um,
Uh,
and then eventually, I don't know, maybe around like 2017 is when I started like, trying to make like better coffee. And so like, it's
what do
been a
you?
long process, but like
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely like grown to like the taste of it rather than like a necessity for like needing caffeine. Like I don't really need caffeine anymore.
Got it. Got it. So when you say, making better coffee, right? So obviously,
Hmm.
you said freshman in college, it's necessity. That makes sense. I can connect the dots, right? The necessity
Yeah.
was, you were a cool guy in college and, and you just needed coffee. You need to
I don't
walk
know about
around with
that.
your cup of Joe. I'm kidding, obviously. But when you said start making better coffee, what kind of coffee were you drinking from the beginning? Was it just like whatever you had on campus? You just made your own, like
Yeah.
Folgers? The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup, or what?
It was mainly yeah, whatever was on campus. So like at the time we still had a McDonald's, but eventually they closed.
Damn, you guys had a
Um
McDonald's on campus?
we did for like, I don't know. At least when I got there, like they closed it after like probably the second year I was in college.
Okay.
But once that closed, there was either Starbucks, which I was, I didn't really get plain coffee at Starbucks. It's usually like the sugary drinks. And
Mm-mm.
then there was also a Tim Hortons on campus that I drank a lot of coffee from.
Right.
It was just fast
Timmy's.
and easy,
Yeah.
I guess.
Gotcha, gotcha. And then it was just like whatever you wanted because, like you said, you didn't like the taste, right? So you started off with the sugary drinks,
Yeah,
which makes sense,
yeah,
right? Like even I don't even like the sugary drinks, dude. I
yeah.
don't. I just do teas. And hi, Rubber Rice. Hi, Sherry. How are you? Wow. Um, do you? I mean, for you, and then you started drinking coffee, like better coffee. What is better coffee? Did you like buy an espresso machine at home? Are you one of
No,
those TikTokers with like specialty tamps and these little like I buy my Colombian beans, especially from this market on downtown in a hidden hole in the wall store. Like I don't know, dude. Like
that is where you find them. But yeah, no, I don't have like an espresso setup. Just because I feel like if I were to get into that, it would be like way more money than I would want to invest in right now.
Okay.
Uh, so like I just have like a grinder, a Brazza Virtuoso, um, and just a simple like pour over. Or I also have like a French press if I want that. But I like the
Ooh.
pour over because it's easier.
Ooh. Rubber Rice. Thank you for the sub. Welcome to the light show. Total of 5 months. Nice. But nice. Yeah, I was gonna ask because, like, similar to one of my older cousins who also got into coffee slowly, right? He got the same thing. He got like the
Hmm.
French press. He got into the little pour over setup and stuff. I feel like that's a very common route for a lot of people who get into coffee and want to make better coffee at home.
Yeah. I personally wouldn't recommend a pour over though if you're starting to get into coffee,
Mm-hmm.
just because there's so many variables that you have to change, and I think starting out it's easy to mess it up. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I would more recommend something like, I don't know, like an AeroPress.
What is an
Um,
AeroPress? I don't know what that is.
it's similar to I mean, I don't even know if it's similar to a French press. Not really. Um, but if you can imagine like a plastic like tube and then there's a plunger.
A plastic
Um,
tube and a plunger. Okay.
yep. So you put the coffee in, then you put the water in.
Uh
There's
huh.
like a paper filter,
Uh huh.
and then you plunge the coffee basically. So
What's
it's what they call an immersion brew.
right? Okay. So then, what's the difference between that? Okay, I might be thinking this wrong. What's between difference between that and a French press?
Okay, a French press. Usually it's not like filtered coffee. So that means, well, there's no like paper filter in a French
Oh,
press.
I you
So
just it just
you got
pushes it
like
down.
more, I guess what they call body to it, so you can taste like the oils more.
Mm.
Um, you don't have to press it down. It's literally just you can make it with like a cup. If you have a cup, you have coffee, you have water, you can technically make a French press. It's just
Oh,
immersion. Uh,
gotcha,
but
gotcha.
they call it French press because there's like a strainer, right?
Oh, okay, gotcha, gotcha. And Sherry, yeah, that hype. My sub music is pretty hype. It's pretty awesome. Coffee talks. Yeah, I don't know shit about coffee. That's why I'm asking Spalding. And cool, dude. I'm pretty sure that it wasn't you, right? But I think one of my other friends introduced me to. I don't like remind. I don't if I might be wrong, and it might have been you. The one who's introducing the one with the pipe on like travel coffee,
Oh, the
was that?
bribe?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
you, right?
yeah, the bribe.
Fucking the bribe, dude. Because I don't. Yeah, because I don't remember if it was you or my old roommate. Because he also likes coffee and like hipster stuff like that. But
Mhm.
I'm just like, God damn it, dude. I feel like that one was super niche. I was
Yeah, I
like, for
think he was
really
mainly
having
joke like
coffee.
he was mainly memeing in that video. I don't I don't know. I mean, I think it was one of those cases where he bought it as a joke, but it turned out like, maybe there's a market for this.
Hey,
But
hey, man, if they made it and he bought it, education to the public means there will
true.
be more
That's very
people
true.
into it. So even if it is like coffee itself is already a niche, in my opinion, a niche plus semi hobby kind of community. So I mean, I don't see why people
Yeah,
wouldn't want to
if
try it. So
yeah, if you consider like specialty coffee, yeah, it's super niche. I think
gotcha.
majority of the people drink, whatever.
Yeah, cool. All right. Sherry's question in the chat. What do you recommend for people that are lazy but still want to use their own coffee beans? Lazy as in I don't want to wash too many things.
Ooh, okay. See, that's why I like the pour over,
you
because you literally just
you just toss the
you
filter,
pick up
right?
you pick up the filter and then rinse the whatever if you have a V60 or whatever with some soap. That's pretty much it. A French press is like that's like the worst thing to clean. Like you have to like disassemble the whole thing if you use the mesh filter. Um, AeroPress is a little bit easier to clean than that, but there's like still three pieces. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Pour over is a bit hard. It's a bit tricky to do though. Um,
Right, because it's like there's a specific technique to it, sort
there's a
of.
technique, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like,
You have to mess with grind size
y-
adjustments.
right, and then it's like, are you pouring enough, or how much you poured into the filter, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
It's like the only reason why I know pour over, right? Right. The only reason is fucking Tokyo Ghoul. You see Tokyo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know how much into anime you are, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, 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 I remember.
Yeah, like I've never wanted coffee before, but that was the one time in anime food made me want to have coffee. Was fucking Tokyo Ghoul. I'm like, I'm not a ghoul or anything, obviously, but goddamn, did they make it look good? Just like him
Yeah.
pouring the pour over coffee and then over the filter and the ground up beans, and then I'm like, damn, that looks good. That's like the
Yeah.
only time I ever thought about trying coffee. But then I went,
Like I do like making it. Like it's like a I don't know, almost therapeutic to make coffee. Um,
mm.
but yeah, cleaning sucks. And that's my main motivator of like, yeah. I mean, I like the taste of pour overs. They're good.
Nice, nice.
It's just too many variables if you're not used to it.
Gotcha. And then for you, do you use like specialty or like special type of beans? Because you have your own grinder, right?
Yeah. I usually like natural processed beans. Uh, if you don't know what that is, it's essentially them like so most beans are washed.
Mm-hmm.
So the fruit gets washed off and then you get the beans.
Mm-hmm.
Natural process, it's just dried out. So the fruit is dried with the beans, and you kind of get like more
Oh,
of a fruity flavor. So I usually
okay.
go for like Ethiopian beans, and it
Cool.
has to be roasted pretty recently. None of that stale shit.
Gotcha. That's what a lot of people say. Most people say roasted is usually better. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
you want freshly roasted coffee.
yeah. But yeah, bougie. Are your beans bougie, Spalding?
Uh,
Would you consider them bougie?
I I mean, I also go for like decent value. Um, so I don't know. I think for the average person, it might be considered bougie, but in the
Mm.
coffee game, it's like I don't know, not that bougie.
Oh, I if I like as an enthusiast, it's okay, right? You know what
Yeah,
I
cause
mean?
like what at Costco, you can get like 2 pounds for like maybe $15.
Uh huh.
But like, I don't really like the coffee there. Um, but for me, 2 pounds is like, if you can get that for like $36, that's a good ass deal.
Gotcha, gotcha. I feel like that I feel like that just goes with anyone going deeper into any sort of hobby or niche market, right? Like when I
Yeah,
hear
that's
that,
true.
right? Cuz it's like when I hear this, the thing that immediately sticks out to me is like people who build keyboards, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you can buy a pre-made keyboard with this specific key set, and then it's like pre-built and all that. It's like, oh yeah, it's like anywhere between $60 to $120, right? And like depending what size you get and the keys and whatever and the switches. But then if you like really want to build your own and like you want to get custom keycaps, like that shit can go
Hmm.
easily upwards of like three hundred
Yeah.
dollars. So that's
Yeah.
fine.
To the average person, they're like, why are you spending this much? But like, I don't know.
I,
Like,
mm-hmm,
it's whatever you like to do, I guess. I don't know.
exactly
That's why I
it.
don't like judging people's hobbies or like
Gotcha.
anything like that,
Oh,
because
that's very open-minded of you.
yeah.
Gotcha. And Caillou Jaeger, hello. Not really a fan of coffee. Me neither, but I like hearing people talk about what they're into. So, and yeah. And similar to your like the coffee game, right? And what is for you like not necessarily too expensive, but more so just like over the top for just a single cup of coffee? Because like you said, your 2 pounds, right, is like 36 dollars, whatever. How long does that
Yeah.
last you? Like how many cups or how many
It lasts way
days?
too long.
Yeah,
Like
see,
I wouldn't recommend like buying that because eventually it does get stale.
right.
So I don't know. Eventually at the end of like the 2 pounds, um, like it doesn't have that same like subtleties, I guess. Because like the
Mm.
coffee I like, I have this one where it has like a very faint taste of blueberries, and it's so good.
Ooh, I love
You can like
blueberries.
smell it as soon as you like as soon as the water hits it. It's like potent. But I can look up like because I know how much like I weigh the beans and everything. So give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time. Cause you say $36, right? But you say it lasts
Yeah.
you a while. Do you drink like 1 or 2 cups a day? How many a day?
Mainly just 1 cup a day.
And it'll last you how long? Roughly.
So I brew with like 16 grams, so that'll last me about a little under 2 months.
Okay. See here's my qualm. Like this is speaking from someone who doesn't drink coffee, right? And this is just purely from a financial monetary standpoint, right? You're spending
Hmm.
$36 on your own coffee and
Yeah.
like, whatever filters and whatever, and water's free. Fuck it, technically we live in a free world. um and it was like $36 over 2 months, and let's say you don't drink a couple days or
Exactly.
you throw them out early, like a month and a half, right? If you drink one a day, roughly, that's still 6 to 7 weeks of coffee for you. 36
Yeah.
bucks, dude.
It's
That
not
that's
bad.
that's a week of Starbucks, dude. That's a
Yeah,
week
but
from like anywhere. Like I don't think that's bad.
yeah, it's like when you put it like that, yeah, it's you save a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't like into coffee to save money at all, um
Right.
but yeah, when like a normal person says like, "Oh, dude, that's a lot of money for coffee." Like, I don't know. I guess they're not thinking of like uh the breakdown, I guess.
Right. They
Um
just hear a number and they go, "Ooh, that's a lot." They're like, "Oh,
but
it's not $36 for a single cup of coffee." I mean, like,
yeah, I
yeah.
guess it's easier to justify if like if you're doing like a small purchase at like I don't know, let's say at Tim Hortons,
Mm-hmm.
like that's easy to digest, but buying 2 pounds of beans, can be a bit much, I guess, for some people.
I see, I see. That's fine. I mean, it is what it is. It's also like, again, same thing with like the keyboard building example. Like you can
Yeah,
justify anything. Like
that's true.
if you're a typist or you're a coder or something else. Oh damn, I just got a bunch of Discord messages for some reason. Um okay, I'll answer that later. But for those, it's like, you can justify it, right? Because you use it a lot, and and same
Hmm.
thing. It's just about being, for me as someone who's not in that same interest per se. I'm just like, this is an easy way for me to wrap my mind around it. So
Yeah.
that's for me. I'm just like, oh, this is how I can put it perspective in my terms, because it's like, do I need this $4, $5, $6 coffee? I don't, because I don't drink coffee. But for someone who may or may not, quote unquote, need it, right? Because it's
Hmm.
it's understandable. So, but yeah, I
It
mean,
adds up
yeah, it adds up.
for
It adds
sure.
up for sure. And for you, it's like you said, you're not in the for the money. You're just like, I just want a good cup of coffee. So,
Yeah, yeah. I just want a good
exactly,
cup of coffee, and it's fun
exactly.
to make it as well.
Gotcha. All right, cool. That was a good coffee talk. I actually learned a few things and stuff. Maybe we'll watch the Bright video again after the post
I'm down
podcast
for a
show.
rewatch. I mean, there's
Like,
so many awesome videos that he
dude,
made.
yeah, I mean, it's really funny. I'm just like, dude, this is interesting. There's a pipe. He's out in the wilderness. This is like this is some on the go type of stuff, dude. So maybe we'll see. But yeah, and also saying once again hi to everyone in chat if you are lurking or whatnot and doing all your things. Welcome. Um, but yeah, you we came into this podcast with like semi topics, but that was I liked having that little segue also. So and recently, this only started this past weekend, and this is also something you put in for potential stuff to talk about. And I feel like we can get into some talks about learning styles and stuff. But because
Ooh.
recently, this past weekend, I started learning Japanese via Duolingo. And for those who don't know, even though I've talked about it on like every 3 weeks of this podcast, or every 3 episodes, basically, is I'm going to be going to Japan in March. It was a trip that was delayed, postponed from October, now pushed back to March. And yeah, and I realized if I went in October, I think I could have gotten away with it with not being able to read or, fully understand more Japanese. I can like get away survival in like the touristy areas, but
Mhm.
it was a decision for me to learn Japanese. I might as well, even if I am not gonna be going to Japan again after this trip, who knows? But I feel like learning the very basics of a language is pretty nice now that I'm realizing it. And
Yeah,
it's honestly pretty fun. I'm like gamifying it in my head while I learn it. So I'm actually really enjoying the lesson so far.
nice.
And learning the hiragana and slowly getting into the katakana and stuff like that. So, and then I'll die when I get to kanji, as everyone does. But I'll die when I get there. So, I mean, Spalding, you said you've learned Japanese before, right?
Very, very minor. I only learned hiragana and katakana. My vocab is very, very beginner. I don't know too much.
That's fine. I mean, so how did you learn it and when?
So what was it? I think back in towards the end of July, I started learning hiragana. Um, and I learned it from what was it, Japanese Pod 101.
Oh,
It's
thank you,
like this
Sherry, for the lurk.
they got a website, but I just watched the YouTube videos, and they had like this thing where it was like learn hiragana in 10 days basically. So you had like a video every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so like I basically, watched that video and I took notes on my phone as well as like I would write down like every word they had in that video essentially.
Oh,
And then
wow.
to recap, I did use a couple like apps as well.
Hmm.
just to I don't know, like reinforce the learning. Um, so there's like Lingo Deer, there's like Hey Japan, as well as like I feel like flashcards like Anki is pretty good.
Damn, you used a lot of resources for this actually.
Yeah, yeah. And the cool thing is like there's like so much free shit. There's so much
Right.
free resources that you can use. Uh, Especially if you have like a printer, right? You can print your own, worksheets. Um, but one of the yeah, Japanese Pod 101 was it was how I learned both like hiragana and katakana. It took me like maybe a month, around a month,
That's pretty good
to learn
still.
that. And then there's also another YouTube channel. It's called Japanese from Zero.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that I kind of watched his series to learn like the numbers. So I mean, I forgot like mostly everything past like 10,000. I mean,
that's
I'm
that's
still rusty. I'm still rusty, but like
that's still pretty good.
um
That's still admittingly
that's
pretty
that's where
good.
I stopped off, I guess. But yeah, once I finished katakana, I kind of like took a break because like man, yeah, kanji is not fun.
Yeah, I heard kanji isn't that fun. And to be honest, and from what I hear, the there aren't even in regular everyday usage other than namings and like formal spellings of stuff. Kanji isn't even used that regularly, other than maybe like I heard it was like bridge and train. Oh no, bridge and mountain.
Mm,
So like I feel like kanji won't be too bad necessarily, but I still got to get through the other stuff. But
yeah,
so from what I'm hearing, right? Your entire Japanese education was self-taught and just self-motivation? Like none of this came from school or anything?
yeah. I didn't. Honestly I should have took a class because my degree had to have like a language part to it,
Uh-huh.
and I took Spanish just because like I've always taken Spanish.
No,
It was
I
so
feel you. I
stupid.
feel
It
you.
was so stupid. I should have took Japanese because it was actually like something I wanted to learn. But yeah, most of it is like, I don't know, self-taught, I guess, with the help of those videos.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm the same way. Like I took 3 years of Spanish in high school just so I could fulfill the language requirement to both graduate and so graduate in high school, and so I didn't have to do it in university either.
Okay.
So, but then I never applied it anywhere,
Yeah.
and like learning in school didn't make it fun. Like Spanish was not something I was interested in learning. So
Yeah.
it was just something that yeah, like I'm the same way. The only reason why I took Spanish, right, was in high school there was only three languages we could take anyways. It was Spanish, French, and then American Sign Language, which for some reason some universities wouldn't accept. So I couldn't even use that as a
Okay.
as a thing. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing French. I'm doing Spanish. I'm Filipino. I can figure this. I can figure Spanish out, man.
Yeah.
It's just like it just made sense. And technically they offered Japanese as a lesson at like the local community college, but I'm like, dude, I don't want to go to a community college just for Japanese, right? I'd rather just
Yeah.
do Spanish and just pass than on top of the other regular schooling that I did. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
it wasn't a it wasn't going to give me that much more of an advantage taking a community college year of a language versus then, but then I don't know. I think you've heard this on the podcast many times, but I'm not a good student. So I think I think I'm better teaching myself some things if I'm actually interested, like I
Gotcha.
am now. And then I'm motivated. I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun. I'll make it a game. But as soon when
Yeah.
someone tells me, oh, this is homework, you got to do it this specific way, I'm just
Mm.
like, yeah, nah, no thanks.
Yeah, some people learn different ways. For me, I think it would have helped me if I learned it in school just because there's that like commitment that you kind of have to go to class and stuff like that. and I'm pretty like strict on myself about that. I'm pretty shit at homework though. Like
Same.
I'll do it, but like studying all that shit, I'm like horrible at.
No, I feel you.
So
I do it. I do it to do it for the grade. I don't do it to learn.
right.
Right. Yeah, we are terrible students.
Yeah,
Oh,
not
yeah.
good, but I think at least learning like by yourself, there's less pressure, I guess, but
Definitely.
that can affect your motivation as well.
Right, right. It's like motivation and discipline, right? Because obviously,
Hmm.
in school, right, your form of discipline is you get a bad grade, or
Yeah.
or the teacher yells at you. But if you're learning by yourself, it's not motivation versus discipline. And I think I had an episode like years ago, maybe like 100 episodes ago. I can't even remember what number it was. But I had a podcast with people of two different schools of thought, along with me and Kemp, to talk about motivation versus discipline, right? And then what Jay said, if I ever catch myself learning, I'll make sure to stop. Good one, Jay. Good one. But motivation is something to help you get started, right? It's like, oh yeah, you have a reason to start and reason to keep doing this, right?
Hmm.
But then when you lose motivation, it's how I see it, and this is how I was taught, like later on in life, not as a kid, but like after being an adult, was that's motivation, and discipline is when there's no motivation, you do it anyways because either you have because you have to. That's what how
Right.
I see discipline. Like self-discipline, obviously.
Yeah.
Disciplining someone else, that's a different definition.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. We
yeah,
won't
yeah,
get
yeah,
there.
yeah. That's that yeah, that's not how I raise I don't think that's how I'm going to raise my kids, but
Good.
yeah, I mean that is basically how I raise my kids. They'll some days be like, yeah, I'm having fun with my kid, I'm motivated. My kid's giving me a bad day, it's a rough day, but I have to be a good parent at the end of the day. That's discipline, you know what I mean? You're like,
That's
you
true.
can't walk
Okay,
away,
that's true.
right? Like it.
Yeah, you can't just ignore it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like those are like two good examples, right? Like I feel like parenthood is a more of an extreme example, obviously. um
Hmm.
but let's say something like you said, like something that you start yourself and and learn. For me, similar would be like to learning the language, right? Um, like I said, by Spanish versus Japanese right now was me learning a musical instrument, aka the bass guitar. And
Hmm.
like I know how to play that very basically, and like, oh yeah, I get the concepts. But if you ever ask me to freestyle or lay down a beat, I'm like, sorry, man, can do. No can do. You got to give me tabs to play off
Yeah.
of. And if you ask me to play something technical or even more complex that doesn't have like a set pattern to it, like I will
Hmm.
struggle. But
Gotcha.
that that came out of motivation, not so discipline, because I'm just like, oh, I just really like this music and I want to learn a little bit more.
Uh,
But it wasn't like I'm gonna go hardcore into this because um I'm more of just an enjoyer and an enthusiast. So, but similar to that. But for you though, you said you're good at finishing assignments, but that's relating to academia. How do you learn
yeah.
stuff outside of academia when you're actually like interested in something?
Uh, well, yeah, it has to be something that I'm definitely interested. That's the only way I'll go hard and learn something. Because if I'm not interested in it, man, it is hard. It is so difficult. And like, yeah, I'll just research a bunch. I'll just look stuff up. Um, but like when it comes to like Japanese, I don't have like I do have goals. Like the reason I wanted to learn it was eventually I'd like to go to Japan and be able to like navigate myself without having to rely on technology. But you know whenever that's gonna happen, uh, it's not gonna pressure me to learn like right away, right? So
Exactly. Gotcha.
the motivation is kind of slipping a little bit because of that. Like I'm not going to Japan next year like you, so it's finding that right balance, I guess, of knowing you have to like complete something, but also you don't want to set too many goals because if you're learning for fun, then once it stops becoming fun, like that's when the burnout starts to happen.
Oh,
You kind of have to
that's
like
mhm.
take your time with the process, I guess.
That's actually a very good point that I didn't think about, like the burnout, right?
Yep.
Especially if you're doing it by yourself, right? Like I can understand if this was like a set schedule lesson plan with a tutor or just regular school, right? You
Hmm.
have a syllabus and curriculum to abide by, right? Like it's technically
Yeah.
set for you versus self-learning anything, right? Like you said, it's and I think you said it yesterday in my chat yesterday was overlearning, right?
Yep.
And is just not just overlearning. It's like you're not going to be able to retain everything. That's not
Right.
how learning works unless you're a genius or a computer or something. But at the same time, it's just like you said, it's balance. For me, I didn't have a good balance in school. Um, I just did schoolwork and I used university as an excuse for me to just live my own life for a couple of years in the Bay Area for
Mm.
a little bit. And, I just like that freedom. Be like, oh yeah, I can fuck school. I'll skip a class here and there. And I'm gonna just do me. Obviously,
Gotcha.
luckily, I still managed to graduate on time, aka like in air quotes on time, like in 4 years. Um, but at the same time, it was just the sense of me being burnt out by the end of school, and was
Hmm.
also lucky enough to get a lightened load, and technically I was still a full time student, but under the general minimum for my like last semester, so I was able to finally relax a bit with my other
Okay.
things. But at the same time, it was just that motivation and stuff being going so hard for so long in school, right? Because it's like I have 12 years of school, going straight
Yep.
into university, which another 3.5 years. I finally got to slow down a little bit, and it felt nice. And then it burnt me out for like a whole year, dude. Like right after
Oh yeah.
graduating, I was burnt out for so long,
Yeah. Same.
and it was insane. And I realized because of that, not even just because of that, because of other more recent events, I'm just like, dude, I need to really how to learn how to pace myself better and do what is best for me, especially when it's like learning and stuff like this. And like,
Hmm.
I need to take pace and make sure that even though I'm doing it for me, I need to be aware of my overall situation when learning stuff and scheduling things like that. So
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a lot of people want to like learn something fast, right? Like, how fast can I learn Japanese? It's like it's not a race. Like, the faster you try to go, like the more prone you are to burnout and stuff like that. So I don't know if at any time you just I don't know, lose your desire, it's not a bad thing to take a break and try again some other time when you're feeling fresh.
for sure, for sure.
Obviously, people don't have that luxury in school, but if you're learning something for fun, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, it's hard to say that for people in school just because they have to do it by certain deadlines and stuff like
True.
that. And like some people that wish they could learn a little bit slower are forced into a faster paced system and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And, that's why I only really did well in classes that actually interested me in college. Um, and that gave me freedom to learn more so the way I wanted to learn. And
Mm.
I've also said this on a bunch of episodes before, but GEs were pretty boring, pretty trash, and but once I got to more uh interesting courses in my upper classes, right, it was just
Mm.
became more fun and more interesting. And because they were into more in-depth stuff about things I was interested in, such as environmental science, the science behind people's rationale and how to frame things better in a different light, and environmental issues, how to make a fucking map with satellite images. I'm like, dude, that's fucking tight as fuck.
Yeah.
Um, but the point was when classes gave me the opportunity to use their curriculum. They said, okay, find an example in the real world or any topic and relate it back to what we're learning in class, and like write a paper or make a report on it or something like that. I always use that opportunity to relate it to something in video games, right? Whether it was esports, whether it was a something specific in video games. Like I took an entire class on fungi, or fungi as they called it, for mushrooms. I did an entire report, my entire final presentation for the class on mushrooms in video games. I got an A plus on that project, dude. That's one of the few projects I
nice.
got an A plus on. And then because everyone had to do their own presentations and take notes of each other's projects, they would occasionally, not occasionally, they even said, everyone make sure you take notes on everyone's presentations, because if there's information on there, we might pull some information from those presentations and put it on the final exam.
Oh shit.
When the final exam came in 2 weeks, because like I said, that was a final presentation, there was one question I was at 100% confident in because it came from my presentation. It was like, what is the scientific inspiration for the mushroom used in Super Mario Brothers? I wrote my report on that, my presentations of that. I know that shit. It's Amanita muscaria. I remember the name of that mushroom because they put it on the final. I went, I'm never gonna forget the name of that mushroom now. I was like so proud of that. Like I passed the final. The final was okay. I got like a B, whatever. Not a low, like a B minus, whatever. But yeah, like I said, like it made it more fun because I can intertwine my own interest and hobbies into it. So I mean, sorry, you were gonna ask me something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you got that question wrong, like the teacher should have failed you.
Yeah. It was also
But
like,
yeah,
yeah, because there was a bunch of reports and presentations, right? Where a lot of people would obviously pick the same topics, right? Be like, they would obviously get those answers, right? It's like, yeah, because it's like, 3 or 4, maybe 5 people would pick the same topic. It's like, oh, Chinese uses of mushrooms, or mushroom zombie ants, or something like that. But I was the one unique one that stood out to the professors, obviously, for like very unique topic choice. And I was like, dude, I felt so proud. I'm like, oh, dude, I just made someone miss points on a fucking final. Like, someone could actually blame me academically for dropping their final score, and I was like, but I got that question right. I probably got some other your questions wrong, but I don't care, dude. I was like, damn, let's fucking go.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any projects that gave you creative freedom in school? Like, it doesn't have to be university, even like high school or middle school, that you really enjoyed?
I'm sure I enjoyed some, but I don't know. I guess there's nothing that like immediately comes to mind. So maybe I didn't enjoy them as much. But
You
yeah, I don't
enjoyed
know
it in
that.
the moment. They just weren't as memorable. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there was one where it was like, um, it was what was it? It was some like video class in high school or
Mm-hmm.
middle school maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we basically had to record stuff. And like, there was pretty lax rules on the project, so like you can literally do whatever you want. And I remember just like, during class, like the teacher let us like walk around the high school and film stuff,
Oh,
and
nice.
like that. I thought that was pretty sick. Like we were just recording random shit, and then we made a video. I guess that was pretty fun to see like the final video project.
Uh huh.
It wasn't good or anything. I think it was just like
It was
some
just
stupid
fun.
Gatorade commercial that we made. But I don't know. I guess the freedom to do whatever was kind of nice.
Nice. Nice. That you've actually reminded me of another project I did in high school too, or a
Oh
video
yeah.
project. Yeah. Um it was I think it was like my junior year, I think. it was either junior year or senior year, either way. I was in a computer class, right? Just like very basic computer skills.
Mm.
How to make a pamphlet and stuff, and how to design projects in all of Microsoft Offices and stuff like that, and make them look
Mm.
better than just like, your standard, oh, this is what you do. This is how you click. I'm like, obviously, duh, right?
Yeah.
But um one of our final projects for that class, similar to you, we just had a video project. And it was like, hey, present something uh something that you could sell in some sort of video way, right? So me and my friends made a full-on infomercial of these sunglasses, right? But these sunglasses had like the portal gun in it on the sides.
Oh shit.
And so we called it the portal glasses. We had like this super low budget editing, like, fucking 2008 iMovie editing. And
Perhaps.
yeah, yeah, and then it was pretty good. And we obviously look back and I was like, dude, that video was so cringe. That shit was so bad. But then, at the moment we were having fun with it. And then we presented it to the teacher, we submitted it. I don't think we had to play it in front of the class. But when we got the score, right, we got a perfect score. We're like, how the fuck did that get a perfect score?
Dude.
And then the funniest thing is, like, the teacher, he was like, oh, this video is amazing. And it's like, for you guys just to edit something like this and think of the concepts and all. And like, we not only we had to do a video, right, we also had to make our own like little pamphlet brochure to come along with it, because it was like, that's what we learned in the class, and to accompanying material, right? So
Uh-huh.
and the next year or two, right, like my senior year, I think, I want to say, because it was my junior year, people were telling me, who took the class the next year, they're like, Neuron, I was like, you guys did a video in this class? I'm like, wait, how'd you know I took that class? And then I was like, dude, the teacher just played your video in class. I went, what? What are you talking about? He went, dude, he was talking about, like, this has been one of his favorite projects that's ever done in the class. And like, he says, if you guys want to have a good grade, you guys got to make a video like this. I'm just like, what the hell? And then like, I heard that the next year. I graduate, I leave a couple years, I visit campus again. And one of my younger cousins is in the high school. He's new. He's like, 10th or 11th grade. He's like, hey, Neuron. I'm like, yo, what's up, dude? It's like, you took this class? I'm like, it's the same story, right? He tells me, I'm like, I was like, why? And he was like, did he play the video? He went, yeah, dude. I'm like, dude, I made that video like 5 years ago. What the hell? He's still playing it? He was like, yeah, man. I'm like, holy shit, bro. That teacher loved us. Dude, that goes
awesome.
down in the books as one of the that's not even like a big legacy thing. I'm just like, oh man, I feel good that we did so well on that project, that he loved it, even though it was like totally 2010 fucking easy editing. He just loved the concept of the video so much. I'm just like, oh man, I've watched that video and go, oh man, it's so cringe, bro. It's so cringe.
But like, you got to understand, like, the teacher sees like all these videos, like that one's probably way better,
Yeah, like I
Maybe they
realized
have
that.
more like I don't know, originality or
Oh, for sure, for sure.
yeah.
Like, again, like when we have dumb ideas and we can put it into things, we'll make it so that it still applies to the class. But still, the reason that the fact that it was so dumb is what makes it so cringe. Oh my gosh.
That's
But
amazing.
yeah. Oh, I have my baby nephews outside my door. If you hear them, then that's what that little
Mm.
screaming and laughing is. But yeah, dude, I mean, okay, so back to the learning aspect, right? Other than
Mhm.
like, creative freedom, how do you learn best? Because, as like, I don't know if you like can answer that question off the top of your head, because sometimes some people don't realize it. But for me, I'm a person who learns by seeing and then experiencing, right? Because for me, it's like, can I replicate that? I'm not a person is like, if you told me a math problem, right? And then you told
Hmm.
me the theories behind it, and then you gave me a new problem, I'm like, the fuck you expect me to do, right? I'm not gonna get it. I need to be able to copy what you do and understand it first, and then
Hmm.
recreate it. Then I can learn it. But some people can obviously do that off the bat. They get the concepts and stuff. But like I said, mine is more trial and error and seeing. Like I gotta understand what you're
Okay.
doing. Yeah, but how do you learn? Because I know some people do it differently.
Uh, for most of my classes, I was really good at just like paying attention and learning the concepts from the teacher.
Mm.
Um, so because I was like so good at that, that's where like the study aspect of me like not having good study etiquette and all that shit, that's where it like affected me because like I relied on that so much to where I didn't study where I needed to, and then I just ended up getting bad grades. But I feel like I'm pretty good with concepts, like learning concepts.
Mm.
I'm really bad at memorizing things. Like it's not that my memory is bad, it's just like I'm terrible at like if you give me a list of things, tell me to remember it. Like that shit's so hard for me to
Mm.
just sit there and just like keep repeating them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like stuff like with concepts, I'm pretty good at grasping those.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
That's
applying
like,
those.
yeah. You're like, again, I'm just hearing a lot of similarities from you telling, and I'm just like, yeah, that's me too. I get concepts. Ask me to apply them. I'm bad.
Yeah.
I need to apply the concept multiple times to get it. And again, memorization, not my biggest thing. Mine is more so just recognition, right? Like if it's a simple concept and I can apply it in a simple manner, okay, yeah, that's fine. If you ask me, if you present me with five different concepts and I'll get it, but if you ask me to use all five of those concepts at the same time, I will struggle my
Mm,
ass off, dude. There's no way, even though I can get each one of those concepts separately. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
and what sucks is like there's like an exception to the rule. Like that sucks because that's just straight memorization.
right,
Like because it
exactly.
like a lot of the times it logically doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, we just have a exception to this rule because like it doesn't work here.
Mm.
So like those I usually forget those and I'm like, well, fuck. I remember the concept, but I don't remember that.
Mm-mm.
And what chemistry had a lot of those. I was really tough at learning all those fucking exceptions to the rules.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. And but as far as like exception goes, right? What were some of the your best or worst subjects or favorite in that matter? Because sometimes you can be good at a subject but you don't like it, or the
Mm,
opposite where it's like you don't like it but for some reason you're really good at it.
mm.
What were they?
So it was kind of weird. Like I feel like back in elementary school, I wasn't that good at math. And
Mm.
then but I was really good at like English. And then for like a few years later, like those two subjects switched for me. I was really bad at English, but then I was good at math. It was really weird. But I wouldn't even say like those, or at least math wasn't my like strongest subject. I feel like it was always science. Like science
Mm.
courses were my strongest subjects.
Right, because they're
And
like
probably
the most concept based, right?
yeah, and then
Mm.
probably like writing was my weakest, or like English.
Mm.
Uh, what about you?
For me, I always liked math. Ever since I was a kid, I was always like the first couple of kids to finish the math assignment because I like numbers were easy to me.
Hmm.
Um, and I was pretty decent at most subjects, but as soon as I started had to write full on reports and stuff, um, like end of middle school and high school, obviously I wasn't good at writing reports or writing essays because my writing skills weren't that great. uh
Hmm.
I can abstract something and I can prove a point, right? And yeah, I can do like a speech. But if you ask me to do a very cohesive essay with points and stuff, I'm like, nah, dude, I have to do it very by the textbook. And I won't get a high score, but I'll do my best to pass. And that, like, writing has always been a struggle for me. But then, like I said, math, I was pretty good up until 11th grade. So, basic math education in elementary and middle school. And then high school, our freshman year was geometry. And then
I was so shit at that.
Yeah. And you were shit at geometry?
Yeah.
Okay. You couldn't do angles and shit, or what?
Like, I don't know, like remembering the unit circle, that shit was so hard for me.
Unit?
Because
The
it's
fuck
just
is a unit
like,
circle?
wasn't it that like you might need like it might be like trig. Is it called a unit circle?
I mean, we'll,
Yeah.
we'll look it up. We'll look it up
Yeah,
after.
yeah.
But unit circle. All right, quickly describe it to me.
It's basically I think it's for like trig. It's like
Mm-hmm.
pi and all that shit, and I don't know. I can't really explain it. It's
Got,
based off like angles and shit,
got.
and you more or less had to like memorize like the angle and whatever number is associated with it. That
Yeah, so I think that's more trig, right? It's like sine and
yeah,
cosine
yeah,
and shit.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Okay,
probably
so
more trig.
yeah, geometry was fine. Okay, and then algebra 2. I think algebra 2 is super easy. That's just like formulas all over, like
Yeah,
the same thing
that's
over and
not too
over.
bad.
That's just repeatable, not a problem. And then junior year was pre-calc and trig. That's where I hated math. From that
Mm,
point, I hated math. The reason
yeah.
was, in algebra, it's like, oh yeah, in geometry, it's like, oh yeah, X and Y and Z, or maybe ABC, just find the variable. I'm like, cool. And then there's fucking sine, cosine, tangent, fucking
Mm,
what the hell? You have to
so good
convert.
to
Oh, I'm just like, yeah, no, get me out of here. Get me fucking out of here, dude. Fucking, as soon as you start putting words into math, I'm out, dude. Word problems in like geometry and algebra, not a problem. Word problems that aren't even full sentences, they're just words. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, not for me, dude, not for me.
yeah. In college, fucking pre-calc was rough, and even calc one, calc two wasn't too bad, just because like if you could pass calc one, like it's more or less like a continuation of that.
All right, so pretty much like A, B, and then
But
B, C.
I feel like yeah, pre-calc because you're learning so much new material, like those two courses were just fucking rough.
Yeah, that was that was that was pretty bad. Like that's all. Like because I wasn't as good at trig and pre-calc. Obviously, even though I passed the class, I struggled in calc and I didn't pass the AP test. So then I had to take
Mm,
more math classes as GEs in uni, and then fucking I barely passed calc 1, right? And then calc A, 1A, and then 1B is the second semester, which is pretty much calc BC, right?
mm,
Fucking they're like, yeah, calc BC or calc 1B, whatever you want to call it, at our school was like one of the most failed classes on campus. It had like a 45% pass rate. And I was
damn.
like, maybe I can pass it. Damn, that shit was hard. I became another statistic and just dropped the class.
No.
I was like, no, dude, I can't. I'm struggling way too much, and I dropped that class so hard.
Was it like the teacher was bad too, or it was just a hard subject?
I think it was just a hard subject. I can't. I want to blame the teachers, but then I just know I'm a bad student. Like it's also it
Oh,
was a
okay.
mix of things because from when I went into college, right, I was like, oh, I'm finally free. I have freedom. I'm living on my own. I have roommates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stay up till like 3 a.m. playing League of Legends with my
Mm,
friends, right? And like I didn't study for shit. Honestly, I was a really like my freshman year was especially my worst year in university academically. Like worst academic year
oh wow.
ever, actually. Just kidding. I realized that's not the class I dropped. I failed that class for sure.
Mm,
It's funny because it's like I was in high school. I was always a straight A student. Always. I was
mm,
graduated rank 3 in my high school, which is not applicable any like today, right? No, so
mm-hmm.
it's not really a flex. But I go into college and I'm like not passing classes. I'm like, this is a bad sign.
It feels rough.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, am I gonna am I gonna fail college? Am I gonna drop out? Like, that instant regret, obviously.
Yeah.
And it wasn't pretty, but like I said, that's why I'm still lucky to be able to finish school in 4 years and be able to make up some of the classes in other ways. But
Hmm.
fucking calc was a monster, dude.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. I feel like whenever like you have the option of like withdrawing from a class, like past the period of like getting a refund,
Hmm.
like that feels so bad because like yeah, you're not getting that like fail on your transcript, but like if you gotta have to take the like class over again, like you're missing like the rest of that class. Like you're not gonna see it the next time, right? And so like I don't know, I feel like I'd rather fail a class
Mm.
and then just continue trying to like learn something in the rest of my time in that class than just like I don't know, withdrawing. There was a certain point where I was just like, fuck it, we're in here. Like we gotta try to learn something for the next time I have to retake this class.
I feel you. I feel like that was my thought process, but I realized I'm way too fucking late.
Yeah.
I'm like for that class specifically was these concepts are already beyond me because I didn't learn the
That's
groundwork. I didn't learn the
yeah,
foundation. So I'm
that's
like,
true.
that's why I'm just like, I don't even know why I'm showing up anymore. I only get
Gotcha.
like 15% of the material being taught right now.
Yeah, there's a certain point where that works. Like if you don't have that foundational like knowledge, the
Right.
rest of it won't make sense really. But I don't know. Feels bad either way. But if you
Yeah.
can feels really good to pass it though.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's true. That's true. It's that's why for me, I'm like, I went from a straight A student to like I can't get a B to yeah, C's get degrees.
Yeah,
It was a total mental
for
shift
real.
by the time I got to like my upper or my third and fourth year in uni. So I was just like it was pretty dumb. And I mean for you, right? What was your major? And if you had a minor?
I had a BS in biology.
So you like a science, hard
Yes.
science.
Yeah. No minors.
Gotcha. Was bio one of your top choices?
Yeah. I don't think I wanted to do anything other than, biology really. But um there was a lot of like others like because it was a BS, like there's a lot of like chemistry. I didn't really chemistry was okay until like I guess like orgo and analytical chem. That shit was fucking not fun.
Oh yeah, OChem is always the hardest for most people in
But
undergrad.
or even like physics. Like I didn't have to take too much physics, but that was not fun either. like like I just wanted to take bio classes and like there were some really hard ones as well, but I don't know. At least like some of it was interesting, you know.
Right, right, gotcha. And well, hmm. And like you always wanted to do bio. What was there like a reason behind that, or like you were good at it, or is something you were just always interested growing up, or what's up?
I think because I was like interested in it, like I don't know, maybe I put more effort in it and so I was better than most subjects for me. That's probably why.
Gotcha,
But
gotcha.
yeah, I definitely was interested in the subject. That's why I took it.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, that's good. That's good. The reason why I asked, right, was I didn't have that kind of passion or interest going into school. I'm just like, as long as I get into a school,
Mm,
I'll declare something and hopefully I'll finish. And for me, I wanted to do environmental stuff, but I already applied into all my schools as undeclared. So
okay.
when I got into my school and it's like whatever. And when I tried to switch into environmental science, because I had like that uh, D on my uh, grading from that calculus 1B class, and then like chem to like they needed a GPA requirement to
Oh,
transfer in over. I was like, fuck, dude. So then
damn.
I switched majors like 4 times in school not into
For
anything
sure.
I was like super passionate about. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be poli-sci. No, okay, I'm gonna do this other thing. Oh, maybe I'll just do this. But then thankfully the all the advisors, like, they pointed me to geography, which was just like the more social version and like still like scientific part of society, which was like
Hmm.
the like pretty much just a social part of environmental science, which I did really enjoy, but I only got like 1.5 years of classes in there. And
Mm.
again, for me, I only was one of the rare cases because I was undeclared, right? I didn't officially declare my major until the end of my third year because normally it's the end of your second year, right? So luckily for me,
Yeah.
the school was like, "You're able to declare, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then I barely met the requirements. I was able to declare and finish in 4 years. So that I just lucked out because I
Nice.
came into school not having an interest into anything. I'm just like, yeah, I'll figure it out. I never really figured it out.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, sure they have like those like tests that you can like fill out to kind of like narrow down like what you think you like, but like I don't there's not that much like schools do to like kind of broaden your horizons of like what interest like is out there, you know? I
Right.
feel like that's a really big like really big reason why I feel like I don't know, schools should expand on that because like if you're going to university just because you know you have to and not because there's like maybe a subject you're passionate about, I feel like that's like a wrong choice for a lot of people, you know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And
Um,
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like uh, it'll go like a long way in like helping you like you know carve out your interest, I guess, in like whatever subject too.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is like I've heard stories about um people in university in other countries, right? And I think the like Mexico and Canada follow the US system similarly, like North America follow a similar system where it's like, we take GEs the first and maybe second year. But
Mm-hmm.
then, European countries, they don't do that. And when they're like, and I was like, what do you mean European countries don't do that? European countries actually, like, they prep you with GEs mostly through like high school and a few like after high school programs for like a couple months and stuff. But then once you get into college, you're focusing solely on your major for like 3 years and then you're done. And I'm like, wait, what?
Mm.
So it's like, yeah, so at least, your first year you can figure out try a different out couple majors and stuff like that and get interested, so you're not being
Yeah.
just weighed down by your GEs. And I'm just like, that makes sense because it's like general education, like you got your general education, that was your fucking primary school. I'm like, why do you need to take the harder version of that if you don't need to? And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, that's fucking smart. It's fucking smart. And
It's
it's like
I'm kind of torn on it. Like I do feel like there's some courses I've taken that uh, a lot of people can like take something from it. Um, whether they're not, I mean, some of those aren't even like GE courses; they're like bio classes. But there's a lot of useless like fucking courses in there for sure.
oh yeah.
It's just a waste of time.
Yeah, dude, like creative writing and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, I don't need to take a creative writing class, bro. My job isn't to be a writer. My
Yeah,
job is to learn a specific subject, and not every job requires me to be a good writer in. I just need to write a fucking report and state the facts.
yeah,
I don't need to write my opinion on something.
yeah.
But, that's just my qualms about always writing papers and for classes that seem dumb. There was too many times where I would just game all night, go to sleep at like midnight or at 1, sleep for like 4 or 5 hours, wake up early, do my whole
Writing a paper.
wake up early, write my paper, skim through a book, and like find quotes that like may or may not even apply, and then I wrote a paper backwards. And I would average my score average for those were a B minus throughout my entirety of college.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, like I knew how to BS a paper. That's the see. If I could get a B plus in average throughout all of university, BSing me doing reading reports and books and stuff, something's wrong, right? Something's definitely wrong with the system. It was like I woke up the same day, took quotes from anything in the book. I'm like, I think this is what he was talking about, and then fit it to a point that I learned in class, and then like, you know how like puzzle pieces are supposed to fit seamlessly together when you do a puzzle, right?
Uh-huh.
I would like take two puzzle pieces that won't fit into each other, but I'd cut one piece to fit the other piece. That's basically how I wrote the my papers. It's so stupid. And then
Uh,
but it
like B
worked.
minus average though. That's pretty good.
Yeah, like a B, yeah, B average, dude. It's pretty good.
I would take that any day of the week.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I took it, but the point is, I didn't learn anything. Well,
Yeah,
like
that's true.
no, sorry, technically, I did learn something. I learned how to BS a paper, but I didn't learn the things we were learning in class, like the actual subject, which was dumb. And I spent so like hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on textbooks I didn't even read. That's
Yeah,
so
dude,
bad.
I
It's
feel
so
you on that.
bad.
I still have one textbook in like the shrink wrap.
Oh my god.
I think it was astronomy. It was some fucking. I didn't need that book.
Yeah, dude, I have a textbook for a class that I dropped, and that was like 200 and something dollars, and I didn't even return it.
Ah,
I didn't even return
ah,
it. That's so bad.
that fucking feels bad.
Yeah, I'm
No,
dumb.
but you learned that you had the clutch gene, you know? When you have like maybe 2 hours to write a paper, like that gene activates.
Oh yeah, for
Like
sure,
you
for
write
sure.
so much shit.
Exactly. And like I realized, like I want to say, basing papers has helped me in the real world. It technically has. When I have to write an email to someone, it works.
Yeah.
but the greater point is, like you said, the clutch gene. It's outside of education and trying to sell yourself to the world and getting jobs. For me, half my shit and what makes me a good employee, especially like entry level positions and like slightly higher up stuff, specialist and managerial positions, is that stuff that makes me valuable can't be put on like as hard facts you can put on like a fucking resume
Mm,
on a resume. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's
It's
hard
like
to advertise about yourself too.
that's why it's like they just want to see like facts about you. It's like, what's your track record?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, my track record isn't pretty, but I'm fucking good though. Like they're like like you can't say that. You can't say that shit, dude. You can't
Just
say
check my
that.
Steam account and like judge me off of that. Like, come on.
Yeah, dude. It's like, oh, like I've led a bunch of teams to I've created teams and organizations and did stuff, but I can't put that on a resume. Like I'll tack that on as a bottom as like hobbies, right? Or like
Mhm.
notables. But then I'll only bring it up if they actually ask me during the interview. But it's not something like this is a huge part of who I am. But for me to put that only as like one or two bullet points
Yeah.
on a resume is like it feels bad. It feels terrible.
Yeah.
So everything else on there is just like fluff and bullshit and just like track record shit. And it's
That's what
like
they want to hear though.
I
It
know.
sucks.
It sucks, dude. It sucks. But it's so bad. It's so bad. I hate it. So that's why I'm just like, as long as I get a job and I have that track record, keep going. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just do me.
Yeah, honestly, like once you have that set, like you can put that on your resume and then eventually that turns into another thing and then you can add that. Yeah. It's
Like,
just time and effort you have to put in.
yeah, for sure. No, like I just agree with you. It's just even if you don't like it, you just gotta endure for a little bit and do what you gotta do. For me, it's just like, yeah, I make money. Thank God I have money.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and the fact that I'm even able to stream is crazy to me, and
Mm.
that's where my to go full circle, my motivation versus discipline. I'll
Your
stream when I
discipline.
yeah, like 120 episodes of a podcast that I don't even do every week, but I still want to do it. Like hell, I just want to stuff I want to do, man. Stuff I want to do.
Yeah.
Ah, man,
Put that in your resume.
I wish.
120 episodes? Damn.
Yeah, dude. I mean, when I like for my last job, I started in March. I think I was only at like 80 or something. No, that's not that. The math doesn't add up. I was only at like 90. So, but hey, we're at 120 now, so who cares?
And then they'll be like, "All right, what's your podcast? Let me listen to it." And they're like, Never
Oh
mind.
yeah, don't listen to
There's
it.
it's not relevant to this job anymore." Like,
Yeah, it's just me complaining about like brownies are bullshit. Oh yeah, and the other one, like the toilet paper one, you were there for that one.
oh
The
yeah,
great
once.
toilet paper debate with ones. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, they're like, oh, what do you talk about your podcast? Oh, I was like, yeah, I talk about anything. It's honestly, it's whatever's current topics, or if we're anything we're passionate about. Doesn't have to be smart stuff. It's usually dumb stuff. So yeah,
But that's not the impressive reason. The impressive reason is that you did it this long.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows? That's why I joke around and be like, oh, I'm a shoutcaster. I'm a play-by-play analyst and stuff like that. But dude, there's actually my friend's friend that I don't know. He just sent him a picture because he's like a recruiter, or he was doing interviews at their like tech company job. And then he sent a screenshot to my friend, who shared it to our Discord. And it was like, what is in your leadership position? It was like, yeah, I'm a League of Legends player. I'm just like, dude, that's not a leadership
Oh
position.
no.
I'm just like,
Oh
yeah,
no.
I'm a shot caller for my team in my tournaments. I'm like, and it's like, it's kind of, and
No.
we were like, it's like, it makes sense if you weren't applying to a tech company and they didn't know what League of Legends and video games were, but you're applying to a tech
Maybe.
company. So that's actually really cringe. It's so bad.
Maybe if he was like a professional, was he a professional or
No.
Okay, don't put that in your resume.
No, yeah, see, that's what I said. I was like, dude, I would not put that in my resume. Like, if at minimum, it was like if you were like a volunteer coach at like a high school
Yeah.
teaching kids, that makes sense. But if you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm a leader for my team, so when we
That
play League of Legends, I was like, come on, man, that's not,
that's
uh,
that's not it.
that's not it. Yeah, so.
That's amazing.
It's here. Let me find that fucking screenshot, dude. Let me find it. Maybe I'll pull it up during the post podcast show.
It turns out that dude's faker.
Nah, dude. He was like, he even put like, let me read it. I'm ranked competitively in the top 0.5% of all League of Legends players. I'm like, bro, don't do it, man. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Did he at least list it in his hobbies or no?
No, he put it under leadership. That's
Oh,
the worst part. That is literally the worst part. It's copy image. And then we can pull it up later. We'll look it up. So, but the podcast has gone on just under an hour 20. I think it's a good time to wrap up for a 2-person podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll have a short post podcast show. So, Spalding, is there anything you want to quickly talk about, or lightning round questions, or shout out before we wrap up the YouTube episode?
Let's see. Did you want to talk about Twitch recap at all or no?
You know,
It was pretty small.
It was
I
pretty
don't think-
short. Yeah. I think, if anything, we can talk about it a little bit, another episode. If you saved
Okay.
it, then that's probably what's best. So, yeah,
Okay,
we'll
for
talk
sure.
about Twitch recap, either another episode or even post podcast if we're feeling it. So, yeah, cool. Anything else?
No, that's all.
Cool. All right. Well, any shout outs or things you want to plug?
Yeah, shout outs to viewers like you. Thank you. You make the stream.
Damn, dude, even I don't.
And with that PBS line.
I don't. Dude, this show can't go on unless we get your donation. Oh my gosh. And then you got like the motivational music and all the people on the phones in the
Yeah.
background. Holy shit. All right. Well, like Spalding said, thank you everyone who came through and chatted with us for a little bit, and continue to lurk and support not only the stream, the podcast, but me and all your friends and all that good stuff. Much appreciated, y'all. So that said, like Spalding said in the chat, say hi YouTube, because yeah, we're gonna wrap up the episode. So thanks again, everyone. Thank you, Spalding, for being on this episode, and I hope,
Thank you.
yeah, I hope to see you all next time, and stick around for the post podcast show if you're on stream. So bye.
Bye.